The Call. You have as much sense as the next man. Use it, rely on it, and it will grow. You have 2 good hands, 2 good eyes, 2 good ears, your liver and lights are in good working order, you have just as good a physical machine as Vincent Astor. Use them. You have as much faith as St. Francis ever had, if you'd use it. You have as much hope and cheer as Mark Tapley. Use it. You have as much strenuosity as Roosevelt. Use it. You have as good an education as Rockefeller had. You can read the same newspapers, magazines, and books Mr. Howells reads. You can see the same pictures in the galleries that Charles Dana Gibson can see. You have as many funny experiences as George Ade. You have a pen and as much paper as Rudyard Kipling. There's as much adventure calling you as ever called General Funston. You have 24 hours a day, just the same as Woodrow Wilson. What's the matter with you? Why don't you make good? All the wide seas want ships. Where is yours? The quarries are full of stone waiting to go into houses. The mines are gorged with ore. The forests are thick with building material. Bridges need building. Inventions are pleading to be born. The world is hungry for interesting books. Build, invent, write. Every magazine editor is searching diligently in his mail for the real story. Send one in. Every business house is crying for salesmen. Every woman wants a good husband. Children want teachers. The demand for the right man everywhere is tremendous. What seems to be your trouble? What do you mean you have no chance? Opportunity's knuckles are all skinned knocking at your door. Farmers can't find labourers, housewives can't find cooks, theatrical managers can't find the right plays, churches can't find sufficient pastors. The scarcest thing in this world is a man, a real man. Maxims of Friendship. Let us play a while in the library. The subject of friendship has engaged the attention of thinkers in all ages. Many of their conclusions have come down to us in Proverbs. From these sentences of condensed wisdom, we can catch many a shrewd hint. For instance, a maxim found in various forms in different languages is, "The way to make friends that will last long is to be a long time making them." The Greeks had it. Do not make friends quickly. A precept of bias has aroused much discussion. Love as if one day you will hate. Hate as if one day you will love. An offset to this is attributed to Caesar. I would rather die once than mistrust always. And Spurgeon's apothegm was, "He who believes everybody will be bitten, but he who believes nobody will be devoured." Who is too much of a friend to himself is a friend to no one else, is a saying of all lands. La Bruyere puts it, "Indulgence toward oneself and severity toward others is one and the same vice." And the Latins, "The self-lover has no rival." That we prefer a moderate but durable friendship to a share in my tastes and ways is expressed by, "Love me little, love me long." And that if you love me, you must love what I love, and share in my tastes and ways is expressed by, "Love me, love my dog." In almost every language we find the equivalent of, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." Aristotle quotes a Greek proverb, "Who ceases to be a friend never was one." "One friend is worth 100 relatives," or "Fate gives us relatives, we choose our own friends," shows the superiority in the common mind of friendship over kinship. It was Socrates who said, "A friend is another self," and Aristotle the like, "A friend is one soul in 2 bodies." In the Havamal of the Scandinavians it is said, "The tree dies stripped of bark and leaves." so no man can live without friends. Even if a friend's advice offends you, write it down, say the Spaniards. And the French, coup d'ami, coup chéri. A friend's blow, reproof, is a loving blow. And the Spanish again, no hay mejor espejo que el amigo viejo. An old friend is the best mirror. That a good lover should be a good hater is the basis of the proverb, a good enemy makes a good friend. This, however, is denied by Senac de Mahan, who writes, "Love springs from the heart, hate from egotism." Friends are sometimes hurt by ill-timed wit, hence better lose a joke than a friend. That friendship once broken is hard to mend appears in the Spanish, amigo reconciliado, enemigo doblado. A reconciled friend's a double enemy. To have no money dealings with personal friends is taught in many wise saws. He that lends to his friends loses double. The way to lose a friend is to lend him money. The Russians say, refuse to lend and make an enemy. Lend and make an eternal enemy. The Turks, eat and drink with a friend, but do no business with them. Sincerity is the sacrament of friendship, say the Arabs. Also, 1,000 friends is not enough, and 1 enemy is too many. God save me from my friends. I can save myself from my enemies is a saying found everywhere. It was inscribed on the walls of one of the dungeons of the Doge's palace in Venice, where the victims of the Council of Ten were immured. De chi mi fido guarda mi Dio, degli altri mi guarderò io. Maxims of Friendship 2. Let us play some more in the library. Here are some further traits of friendship, drawn from the proverbial wisdom of all ages and peoples. Trust not the friendship of a wit, it is said. And again, wit is the art of making enemies. Not that our friendly intercourse should not be jovial, but that the incurable joker will not fail sometime to wound us in order to score a laugh or to compromise us by his indiscretions. The Orientals say, friendship either finds us or leaves us as equals. That is, a certain common level is necessary between friends, and if it does not exist at first, it must be discovered at last. The superior value of old friends is testified in innumerable maxims. Time, which makes all things ugly, makes friendship beautiful, is the French setting. Italian, an old friend is a thing always new. We say, there's no friend like an old friend. Tacitus writes, "Favours are pleasant so long as they are of a kind we can return. When they exceed that, they destroy friendship." A good thing to remember at Christmas. Don't let the grass grow on the road to your friend, is one caution from the French. But Mahomet says, 2 frequent visits destroy friendship. The Hebrew maxim is, rain is good when you want it, but rain every day is a bore. And the Russians, rare visitors are good company. That friendship is a better guarantee of wedded contentment than love is indicated in the proverb of Charon. Marriage is a matter of remaining friends rather than of remaining lovers. And the French say, friendship born of love is better than love itself. Let your friendships be immortal and your hates mortal is from Livy. Eating together has always been regarded as a means of making and keeping up friendships. The table makes friends, the French have it. Perhaps the sacrament of the Lord's Supper is founded upon this feeling, the love feasts of the early church and the like. The partaking of salt is considered as an especial symbol of friendship, as the Latin amicitia pactum salis. Friendship is a pact of salt. The ancient Hebrews used salt in their sacrificial rites, as Leviticus In all oblations thou shalt offer salt. Possibly it is because salt is a preservative. Homer speaks of divine salt. Friends should speak one to the other in sincerity and frankness. An Oriental saying is, "Beware of them that traffic in incense and in poisons," that is, of flatterers and backbiters. That friends are better than gold is the burden of many proverbs. In The Romance of the Rose we read, "Better friends on the road than money in the belt." Amanio des Ascas, the troubadour, expresses it, "Better a friend than money in time of need." And again we find in the old French, "A treasure is not a friend, but a friend is a treasure." The Gary System. The Gary System is being discussed in New York with all the refreshing enthusiasm of ignorance. Perhaps a simple statement of the facts in the case may be of use. It is so called because it was first tried out in Gary, Indiana. It has nothing whatever to do with Judge Gary of the Steel Corporation, who is guilty of the crime of success, and hence is a bugaboo to the soapbox crowd. It was introduced into New York simply because it is the latest, most modern, most scientific, and most sensible step in education, and New York wanted the best. Why is it so opposed by certain classes in the great city? Just a few years ago, the Chicago Sports shot ducks over the sand dunes on the Indiana shore of Lake Michigan, where the city of Gary now stands. Not a soul lived there. Then the Steel Corporation located its works there. As if overnight, there sprang up a modern city, with skyscrapers, streetcars, electric lights, and all other city equipment. The citizens, of course, set up a public school. They secured a teacher by the name of Wirt to head it. Wirt found the one opportunity of a lifetime, and of the United States, to wit, a brand new city with no old fossils on the Board of Education, and no mouldy traditions to kill off any new ideas. So instead of creating a school just like all other schools, he instituted a system where children are really developed and made good and useful citizens, and not merely run through a dull routine. His system is, in a nutshell, designed to teach by study, handwork, and play. In other words, he gave to the children of the poorest family the superior advantages heretofore only to be found in certain excellent private schools. That he succeeded will be a surprise to anyone who knows the conservatism and inertia of schools, for American schools have been almost as medieval as the German army. But he succeeded because he had a clean sheet. He was creating something new. When he came to New York, he found plenty of opposition because he tried to graft this healthy new shoot onto an old and very gnarled tree. The whole inertia of the teaching profession was against him. All that considerable portion of the populace that faces backward and sees wisdom only in the past was against him. Political demagogues who wanted to cripple the administration that brought him to New York were against him. The passions of those whose minds are soaked in class and who send their children to school to enable them to climb into a higher class were against him. Nobody was for him, except those who use their common sense and think, which is a comparatively small proportion of the populace. In Gary, Wirt was creating something. In New York, he had to reform something. There is no doubt whatever that in time Wirt's ideas will be universally adopted, but they will first have to pass through the fire and fury that beset every revolt from tradition and return to reason.